Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to thread a Pfaff Hobbylock 786. Now this is a traditional 4-thread overlocker, and we'll start by taking a look at the thread mast here. So you can see that it's got 4 thread cone holders, but we've got 2, 4, 6 loops there, and that's because these 2 rear cone holders, the thread comes up to the rear loop directly above the cone and then comes forward to this inner front guide here, whereas the front cone here just comes straight up to this guide here. So you can also see that there's an arrow on the top there to say face forward or face towards the operator, and we'll just pull the mast up like so. I'll lower the thread mast just a little bit, just really to make it easier to get it all in shot here, but first of all we'll just thread the all of these 4 through the appropriate loops. I'm looking from the rear here now, just using these small 1000 meter cops here. So the rear one goes through the 2, just like that there. And you'll also notice there that the channels here, this is again from the rear, little channels here that the thread goes through actually goes under the handle, so it looks like it's best to have the handle up when you're threading this. So I'll just start by laying all 4 threads in the channels there. You can see there's another channel here actually just behind the thread mast, just here. That'll be for the 5-thread version, so they've just put a little blanking plate on top there to cover that, since it's not in use in the 4-thread. So effectively just run the thread through the channel, and you can see it hooks under this little metal guide here. We'll just get a closer look at that. That's the little metal guide just in here. So if I do that again, just laying the thread down in the slot there, and you'll see we come down, pull it tight, and it goes in under the little metal guide there. So I'll do that for all 4. Just like that. And if we come around to the front, so we've got the threads lying in through the slots here. They're coming out the front by the tension discs here. So you want to make sure that these threads here are pulled down in between the tension discs here. And to do that you can hold back at the rear of the thread and just pull at the front. And that will make sure that these threads come down between the discs. Because I can see here that this thread is definitely not down in between the disc. There it is there now. I can just feel that. I can feel that there's no tension on this one. No tension here at all. If I hold at the back, pull down, you can see it pull into the disc. It's got a nice amount of tension there. So this dial here on the right is the lower looper, the yellow. The next one in is this sort of maroony colour, that's the upper looper. And then we've got the 2 needles here with this sort of aqua type colour here, that's the right needle. And then over here, the very left hand dial, the sort of pale blue, bluey green, is the left needle. Okay, so we'll start by threading the upper looper. Just open the door by pulling to the right, swinging it out. And if we have a look in behind the door, we can see the handy threading diagram here. I'll also swing out the side cover here so we get access to the left hand side here. Okay, right looper, so we're following the red, this red here. You can see that these two guides are these two guides here, and then we come down to this guide here with the red dot on it, and then up to this guide here, across to this one, and then through the looper. Okay, so let's just get that done. These little guides have got little one-way hooks on them, so you can just hook underneath. And through that one. And then through the top looper there. Get those two threads out of the way. Let's double the thread over and twist. It gets a nice stiff piece of thread there to get through the eye. And there we go, that's the top looper threaded there. And we'll just come in under the presser foot there. Next is the lower looper, so following the yellow. So yellow dot, another yellow dot down here, and another yellow dot here, like that, and then through this loop here, under this one, like that, and then we turn the machine around. So I'm looking in from the left hand side here, and you'll see the looper here. If I turn the machine over, get it, so the looper's right to the left there, and you can see that a bit closer there. So I've got the looper here right to the left, and you might be able to see a little hole just there. So it's a matter of just retrieving the thread from that eyelet that we threaded through last. I'll just get my tweezers through there and pull that up through there, and then go through here, and that will come out the front of the looper. You can just see it here. Okay, so I'm just going to pull that through a little bit, and then when we turn the machine around again and come in from the other side, come in from this side here, I'll just zoom in a bit there, and then turn the machine to get the looper coming all the way to the right there, and you can see the thread here that's I poked through before. Now I just want to be careful that we don't tangle these threads up, this lower looper and the upper looper thread. So let's just get that threaded through for a start, through the looper eye. And you can see, if I pull that tight, you might be able to see a little problem there. So you might be able to see that the lower looper thread here is actually going over the upper looper thread, this one here. We don't really want that. We want that one to be out of the way. So we want to just pull that out so it doesn't interfere with the upper looper thread there. Yeah, you can get the thread under the press foot here just by going in between the blade there and coming to the back. But you might actually find it easier possibly just to remove the presser foot. There's a little lever at the back of the press foot bar, and that way we can get a better view, and it's just another thing we don't have to worry about with the presser foot in the way. So you can see the two threads there. They will start chaining once the needles are threaded. So let's do the needles. At this stage, you could, if you decided to just thread in 3 thread, you could choose either of these needles for 3 thread. It really depends how wide you want your 3 thread seam to be. If you want it to be narrow, you would thread this right hand needle thread. If you want it to be a wider seam, you would thread the left hand needle. But in this case we're going to do 4 threads, so we'll go ahead and thread both of these, and it's just a matter of again following the diagram, but in behind this little loop here, and then over the top of this, so over the top and down the back. There's a little slot down the back here under there, and then you can see another guide with 2 slots in it here. You take the thread into the inner slot there, so I've just got more of a sort of a top down view there from an angle, and you can see the thread going into that inner guide there. You can thread these threads, the needle threads, in parallel pretty much if you want to as well. So just the same thing really, just in behind this guide here, this guide here for the left needle, and then over the top and behind here, same as the other needle, and just into the left hand side of the guide there. So now we can start threading the 2 threads. So we'll start with the right hand needle over here, just in behind this guide here, and then in behind the spring, like that. So in behind there's a guide, this bar here, and then in behind this spring, and we'll do that for both sides. Like that, and then it's just a matter of threading straight through the needle eyes there. We'll just use the cutter to trim the threads off nice and sharp there, nice and square. And then just straight front to back on the needles here. Like that. And then the same with the left. Just like that there. What we can do is we can put the presser foot on, and just so the presser foot goes down over top of those threads. Should just clamp on like so, like that, and now we're ready to start the chaining off. So we'll close the covers up there, and we'll come around for a side view there. Okay, we should be able to chain out here now. Just take it easy when starting to do this, just in case something's jammed up, but that's looking fine there. And then we can just carry on and go ahead and just like so.